He shuffled slowly down the crowded street, bags heavy in his frail hands. Suddenly, a loud crash. Groceries spilled across the pavement. People rushed by, their eyes glued to phones, pretending not to see. The man's shoulders slumped, a quiet sigh escaping his lips. But then, one teen stopped and everything changed. Mr. Thompson had lived on Maple Street for nearly 50 years. At 78, he walked with a cane, his steps slow but steady, every movement a testament to a life full of work, laughter, and love. Today was grocery day, a simple routine he cherished. He liked walking to the small corner store, choosing his vegetables carefully, smelling the bread fresh from the oven, and greeting the shopkeepers with a soft, "Good morning." Yet, even in these small joys, there was a quiet loneliness. His wife had passed 2 years ago, and his children lived far away, busy with their own families and lives. The old man often found comfort in routines, in the small interactions that reminded him he still belonged to the world. Today, however, carried a small challenge. His grocery bags were heavier than usual, stuffed with fresh produce, milk, and bread. The sun was warm on his back, and he hummed a gentle tune, lost in thoughts of the soup he would cook for lunch. He had always believed in simple pleasures, fresh vegetables, a steaming cup of tea, and a kind word from a neighbor. As he reached the crosswalk, he noticed the young people around him, their earbuds in, their attention elsewhere. He smiled politely at one passing teenager, but the boy barely noticed, scrolling through his phone. Mr. Thompson felt a pang of sadness. The world seemed to move faster than he could keep up with, yet he refused to complain. He carried on, gripping the bags tightly. For a moment, he imagined his grandchildren running toward him, laughing, as he showed them the carrots and apples he had bought. But reality sank in quickly. The street was busy, strangers moved past him, and the weight in his hands felt heavier than ever. Still, he took one careful step after another, determined to reach his apartment without incident. Every passerby seemed to blend into a blur, and though some glanced at him with fleeting recognition, no one offered help. Mr. Thompson had grown accustomed to this indifference. Still, in his heart, he held on to hope that kindness could appear in the most unexpected forms. Little did he know, today would be the day he would experience a moment that would forever warm his heart. Then it happened. A sharp jolt of imbalance, a bag slipping from his weakened hands. Groceries tumbled onto the pavement. A rolling apple, a carton of eggs teetering dangerously, lettuce sprawling like a green carpet. Mr. Thompson froze, disbelief etched on his face. "Great!" he muttered under his breath, his voice trembling. The street around him reacted with a mixture of annoyance and avoidance. People stepped around the scattered items, muttering, "Why don't they watch where they're going?" Some shook their heads impatiently, not offering so much as a glance of help. A man in a hurry muttered, "Old man should stay home if he can't manage his own shopping." Mr. Thompson's hands shook as he bent to retrieve what he could. The eggs cracked, leaving a sticky mess on the pavement, and he felt a sharp pang of frustration and embarrassment. Tears welled in his eyes, not just from the physical struggle, but from the bitter loneliness that seemed to echo louder in that moment. He looked up at the indifferent faces passing by. No one stopped. No one offered a hand. He felt invisible. The weight of years of memories of the life he had lived seemed to press down even harder. How had the world become so cold? For a fleeting moment, he wondered if kindness still existed outside his memories. And then he noticed a shadow pause near the curb. A teenage boy, maybe 16 or 17, had stopped scrolling on his phone. The boy's eyes met his, and there was no judgment, no annoyance. Just a quiet, steady gaze, as if saying, "I see you. I can help." For the first time in minutes, Mr. Thompson felt a flicker of hope. He didn't dare imagine that anyone would truly care. But the boy approached, a small smile breaking across his face, and knelt down beside the scattered groceries. The teen began to pick up the fallen vegetables, carefully stacking them in the torn paper bag, even saving the eggs that hadn't yet broken. Mr. Thompson's hands hovered helplessly above the mess, unsure whether to reach out or simply watch. The teen didn't rush, didn't sigh, didn't complain. He simply moved with patience, quiet determination, and an awareness that even a small gesture could mean the world. By the time the last apple was returned to the bag, Mr. Thompson's shoulders were no longer slumped. He looked at the boy, eyes wide with gratitude and wonder. "Thank you," he whispered, his voice cracking. I didn't expect anyone to help." The teen shrugged lightly, as if it were the simplest thing in the world. "It's okay, sir. Don't worry about it. We all need a hand sometimes." For Mr. Thompson, those words were more than comfort. They were a reminder that kindness could still exist in the smallest corners of the world. He offered the boy a shaky smile, the warmth spreading through his chest like sunlight after a storm. As they walked together to ensure nothing was forgotten, neighbors who had witnessed the scene began to soften. Some muttered apologies under their breath. Others paused, noticing how a simple act of compassion could break through walls of indifference. Mr. Thompson returned home, groceries in hand, but his heart felt lighter than it had in years. He unpacked the vegetables, imagining the soup simmering on the stove, the smell filling his apartment. But more than the food, he carried with him the memory of a kind gesture, a moment that reminded him that the world still held goodness. Days later, he would share the story with a friend over tea, and again with a distant grandchild over a phone call. And each time, he would pause, smile, and remember the teen who didn't just pick up groceries, but lifted the weight of loneliness from an old man's heart. Kindness, he realized, didn't need to be grand or heroic. Sometimes, it simply needed to exist quiet, genuine, and unwavering. And in that moment, Mr. Thompson knew that the world was a little brighter because of it. Sometimes, the smallest gestures carry the greatest power. A simple act of kindness can turn hopelessness into hope. It reminds us that humanity still exists in a busy, indifferent world. Every person has the ability to make someone's day brighter. Never underestimate the difference you can make. Kindness always matters.